Hi, this is Darren from Treasure Life Family Farms, and today we're going to work on establishing a pollinator habitat. If you haven't heard of a pollinator habitat, it is a whole bunch of different flowers and stuff meant to attract bees and stuff. And I don't know how well you'll be able to read that or if at all, but there's a bunch of different varieties of seed. So a few examples: common milkweed, butterfly milkweed, lance leaf corpus. Some of these are spotted Joe pieweed. Side goat gamma butte. Anyways, a bunch of different flowers that flower at different times of the summer and attract bees. And so when it's time to pollinate our tomatoes and stuff in our hoop house, it'll be really handy to have this giant it's going to be a half acre of different flowers all through summer. And so let me show you on my phone here how this is supposed to look in the end. The yellow L-shaped thing should be the roughly what we're going to go mark out. We're going to measure it so we make sure we have a half acre in our finished marking spot. So probably too windy to seed today. This seed, I haven't opened it yet, but it's flower seeds are always tiny. At least they seem to, they're mostly tiny. I know sunflower seeds, that's a flower. They're a little bigger, but these are going to pretty much be really tiny. We have, well, this one is, it's rice hulls. It's a 10-pound bag of rice hulls, and so what we do is we'll figure out a mix. And it'll be a certain amount of rice hulls with a certain amount of flower seed. And that'll help the broadcasting operation to broadcast that out. So first thing, I wanted to take care of this inside because once I go outside, it's pretty windy. So I'm not sure if we'll have to basically mute down the sound on the outdoor footage of this, but this is what we're up to today, building some pollinator habitat. Stay tuned, here we go. Hi everybody, it's Darren from Treasure Life Family Farms, and today's the day we spread the pollinator habitat seed. So here's what we got. This is a Gator TS, and we've had it for a couple years. And here's the spreader setup I built for it. It's the spreader off of an old John Deere L120 or whatever that series was back then. This is probably about 15 years old. We still use it for spreading fertilizer, but this is the same as any typical push spreader, so it should work for this. I've got my control lever mounted up here. It used to be mounted back with kind of a sidearm off of this thing. Lets me reach back from the driver's seat of the Gator and turn it open and closed, which opens and closes the gate. The spinner switch is here, and mostly it just stays on. But I also have another switch. When I wired this thing, I put one in up here that does the same thing. But I can do it from up here, and then the Gator has a power port that lets us just plug in. So that's our setup. The cord will unplug at this joint if we needed to do that for some reason. And then I've got a bucket of corn on here for weight, because the spreader on the back by itself is quite a bit, and then especially if we put fertilizer in it, you get too heavy, and then you wonder about it flipping up. In the summertime, I'd be more inclined to put sandbags up here, because they'll kind of squish down there a little more and not bounce around as much as maybe that corn will. I'll keep an eye on it. So let's go mix up a batch of seed and get to spread. Alright, here's a look at our rice hull and flower seed mix. I don't know if you can see the seeds in there. I'll show you the seeds when we get inside next time to mix more up. I made this much. I'm pretty sure the rice hulls are going to go down the gate just fine and spread just fine. I wondered about that, if they would bridge or what, but I think the bouncing and the just they're not that big, and the gate's pretty good. So we'll do this for a little bit, and then come back and mix up probably a bigger batch. And we want to get this done before the wind starts coming up today, so let's go spread. All right, here's our boundary markers. I don't know if you can see the far ones, but we'll see them while we're driving. We've mapped out a ½ acre. It goes down this line, and hopefully the sun doesn't blind our camera, right past the tree. There's a green cone over there, and it has a line parallel to this line. Part in the middle is our pollinator habitat. Let's see, our spinner is off, so we want to get the spinner going, and let's go spread some seed. Cross our line here. Open up our gate. Things happening on the spinner, but I don't see it much. I'm gonna try for a little more bounce and shake that around. We'll see how we do. We'll stop down here and see if we think we've spent much seed. Here's our far corner. Kind of an L-shaped spot we've got. We're trying to hit all sides of the hoop house here. We have bees and pollinators kind of hanging out a lot around here. Before the wind comes up. The wind is supposed to gradually increase between now and, I don't know, 10 or 11 o'clock as it gets up to, I don't know, 35, 40 degrees today. Oh, I can't imagine this camera's gonna be a happy place for how this video turned out with all the bumping and things going on here. Well, we'll see. As I go out of the
area here. I'm going to try and hit the off on the gate. We'll see how that goes. Oh, let's go see what happened with our... Well, I think we used up some. I think it was having a trouble bouncing into the gate probably towards the end. So I think this will be fine. Now we're gonna go put a bigger load in here, so because the one thing I've hated about this spreader ever since I had it was that it doesn't have a cone basically shape at the bottom. So we'll go make a bigger batch, get this thing pretty well loaded up, and then start spreading. All right, I just found a huge rookie error. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to show it. Well, do you see this? This is what's in the second bag of seed. And the first bag of seed was a much smaller bag. This is what we just spread already. And this was a bunch of little littler seeds that are more like bird seed. They weren't that tiny, but that's what was in there. I thought that this bag was more the same, and it is not. So we have all of our little seed in this bucket right now with rice hulls, and we already spread that first outer round with that little seed, and we used a lot of it there. That's unfortunate. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to stir this in. I've got my stick here, and after I stir this in, we're going to use this bucket as the small seed supply chain and start mixing another bucket with rice hulls, the second bag of seed, and this. We'll mix this in as like seed supply, and that's how that'll be. So we're gonna have a heavy of whatever the was in the small bag in on that outside round, and then we'll have some of it still. Now the good news is this. We barely used any of that seed in that first round, just because I was making a small batch, and we ordered 1 acre worth of seed to seed a half-acre patch because we just wanted to kind of double it up. So this will still be okay. It's just an unfortunate rookie error. So I'm going to stir this up. I'm going to show you. I'll show you that, but my stick is eluding me right now, so I will turn the camera off, stir this up. I got to find another bucket and continue on. All right, this is the end of our seed. Just mixed up the last batch. It's probably about 7-8 gallons, full 5-gallon bucket, and then some. And we're off to spread it. I don't really have any way to hook the GoPro back here to try to capture seed coming out of this thing, but it does. I can see the holes now that I don't know, the sun's a little higher up or whatever, but I can see them coming out. So I just gonna finish driving around, and I don't think you can see the gator tracks in the grass. They were a little bit better when the frost was on, and the wind is barely starting to come up, so I'm going to get going on this. So I think this is going to be the end of the spreader video, unless there's something else comes up. But this is it. This is pollinator habitat, half acre with 1 acre worth of seed, and that's what the seed looks like. I've shown you, and don't know what else to say. We'll see how it goes when it starts to come up. I've been told that it takes basically like 3 years for this thing to be what it's going to be. But hopefully we'll see something this year too. And the last thing I was going to say is we're going to drive T-posts basically where the cones are. So I don't know if you can see the cones much out there, but we're going to drive T-posts there because we really only mow this about twice a year in here, down to about 6 inches. So we're going to probably use our BCS flail shredder for that. That'll be a little easier to keep it up to 6-inch height. And with that, we're off. Go spread the rest of the seed, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.